All right, folks, settle in and let's take a trip back in time, shall we? Back to a moment that many of us remember like it was yesterday. A moment that truly defined what it meant to be an American, to be a human reaching for the stars. I'm talking, of course, about the Apollo 11 mission. Now, most folks, when they think about Apollo 11, their minds immediately go to those grainy black and white images of Neil Armstrong taking that first small step, followed by Buzz Aldrin. We all remember that iconic line, "That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind." It gave us chills then, and honestly, it still does today. These were brave men, pioneers who etched their names into the history books by being the very first of us to walk on the surface of the moon. A monumental achievement, wouldn't you agree? Something that filled every American heart with pride. But you know, there was a third astronaut on that incredible journey, a fellow who played a role just as vital, just as crucial, even if he didn't get to plant his boots in that lunar dust. His name was Michael Collins, and for many, he remains a bit of an unsung hero of the Apollo 11 story. While Neil and Buzz were down there on the moon, exploring that alien landscape, collecting samples and planting Old Glory, Michael was orbiting high above in the command module, a lonely sentinel watching over his companions and the precious cargo that would bring them all home. Now, Michael has come forward in recent years with some fascinating reflections on that mission, some insights that might just give you pause. He's touched on things that he and the other astronauts encountered, things that he described as, well, a little spooky. And that's what we're going to delve into today. Why is he sharing these thoughts now? What could these brave explorers have possibly found or experienced on our nearest celestial neighbor that left such an impression? Join me as we explore the intriguing story of the third man on the moon and the mysteries he brought back with him. It's a tale of courage, isolation, and perhaps, just perhaps, a glimpse into the unknown that will make you look at that familiar glow in the night sky in a whole new light. We'll unpack the events leading up to that historic landing, the incredible feats of engineering and human determination that made it all possible, and then we'll turn our attention to Michael's unique perspective from his solitary vantage point, high above the lunar surface. It's a story you won't want to miss, so stick around. Now, before we get into some of the more, shall we say, unconventional aspects of Michael Collins's recollections, it's important to really understand the sheer magnitude of what the Apollo 11 mission was all about. This wasn't just a quick jaunt up and back. This was the culmination of years of intense effort, groundbreaking science, and a national will to achieve something that had only existed in the realm of science fiction. For generations, humanity had looked up at the moon, that constant companion in our night sky, and wondered. We'd spun tales, built myths, and charted its phases with rudimentary tools long before we had the technology to even dream of reaching it. Our ancestors, with their limited equipment, still managed to figure out the lunar cycles, the duration of eclipses, and its influence on our tides and even our calendars. Some even believed it held sway over our very moods. The journey to actually sending humans to the moon was a gradual one, paved with the tireless work of countless scientists, engineers, and test pilots. It started with unmanned probes, those robotic pioneers like the Soviet Luna missions and our own Ranger and Surveyor programs. These missions were the eyes and ears we sent ahead, diligently gathering crucial information about the moon's surface conditions, its geology, and the challenges that awaited any potential human visitors. Each successful data point, each photograph beamed back across the vast gulf of space, fueled that burning desire to send our own up there. And during the Cold War, with the space race between the United States and the USSR becoming a matter of national pride and a symbol of technological superiority, that desire intensified tenfold. President Kennedy's bold challenge in 1961 to land a man on the moon and return him safely to Earth before the end of the decade was a shot heard round the world. It was a massive undertaking, requiring an unprecedented level of funding, a testament to the nation's commitment to this audacious goal. The Apollo program itself was a sprawling endeavor, involving multiple stages of development and rigorous testing. We're talking about suborbital flights, like those early Mercury missions, followed by orbital flights where we learned to maneuver and live in space. Then came the crucial rendezvous and docking maneuvers, the delicate dance in orbit that would be essential for the lunar landing. There were lunar orbiting missions to further map and study our destination, and even landing simulations here on Earth to prepare the astronauts for the unique challenges of piloting a spacecraft onto an alien surface. And let's not forget the extravehicular activities, those spacewalks that were vital for understanding how humans could work outside the confines of their spacecraft. All of this painstaking preparation, all of these incremental steps led to that pivotal moment, the Apollo 11 mission. It was the apex of the Apollo program, the mission that would either cement our place in history or become a stark reminder of the immense difficulties involved in such an endeavor. The world held its breath as that powerful Saturn V rocket roared to life on July 16, 1969, carrying Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and our often overlooked hero, Michael Collins, on their incredible voyage. 4 days later, on July 20th, the world watched in awe as the lunar module, the Eagle, began its descent onto the moon's surface, carrying Armstrong and Aldrin towards their date with destiny, while Michael remained their steadfast guardian in orbit above. So, there they were, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, making their careful descent onto the Sea of Tranquility, a moment forever etched in our collective memory. But high above them, circling the moon in the command module Columbia, was Michael Collins. Now, his role might seem less glamorous, less immediately impactful than being one of the first two humans to walk on another celestial body. But let me tell you, folks, Michael's job was absolutely critical. He was the lifeline, the steady hand in orbit, the one responsible for ensuring that when Neil and Buzz were done exploring, collecting their rocks, and planting that American flag, there would be a way for them to get back home. He was, in essence, the ultimate ride-share driver, navigating the vast emptiness of space all by himself. Once Armstrong and Aldrin successfully touched down and began their lunar excursion, Collins found himself in a truly unique situation, utterly alone on the far side of the moon during each orbit. Think about that for a second. Every time his spacecraft swung around the lunar sphere, he would lose all contact with Earth. No radio signals reaching him from Mission Control in Houston, and of course, no chatter from his two colleagues on the surface. For about 48 minutes out of each roughly 2-hour orbit, he was completely cut off, the most isolated human being in the entirety of existence. Now, for most of us, that kind of silence, that kind of disconnection might sound terrifying, maybe even drive a person a little stir-crazy. But Collins himself described it rather differently. He spoke of it as a period of serene solitude. Instead of feeling stark loneliness, he experienced a sense of profound peace, a chance to collect his thoughts in the vast quiet of space. You see, when Collins was on the far side of the moon, he was not only out of radio contact, but he was also the first human to ever lay eyes on that hidden hemisphere completely alone. The Apollo 8 mission had orbited the moon before, giving its crew a glimpse of the far side, but they were all together. Collins was the sole witness to this uncharted territory, a landscape scarred by countless craters, a world unseen from our home planet. It's easy to imagine the thoughts that might have crossed his mind during those silent stretches. What did it feel like to be the only person on the other side of the moon, separated by thousands of miles of rock and vacuum from every other human being? What did that perspective, that unique vantage point, reveal to him? It's a question that has fascinated many ever since. This period of isolation, this forced introspection, undoubtedly had a profound impact on Michael Collins, shaping his views on humanity, our place in the cosmos, and perhaps even hinting at some of the more unusual reflections he would later share about the mission. It was a time of intense focus, as he had crucial calculations to make and procedures to rehearse for the all-important rendezvous and docking that would bring his fellow astronauts back to the Columbia. His job was far from passive. It required constant vigilance and precision, knowing that the lives of Armstrong and Aldrin, and indeed the success of the entire mission, rested squarely on his shoulders. Now, let's delve a little deeper into this idea of the far side of the moon and why it held such a unique significance, not just for Michael Collins' solitary experience, but for the broader scientific community as well. You see, the far side of the moon isn't just the side we never see from Earth. It possesses some remarkable characteristics that make it a truly special place. One of the most interesting of these is its relative silence. Not a spooky, otherworldly silence, mind you, but a silence in terms of radio frequencies. The moon itself acts as a massive shield, blocking the radio waves emanating from our very noisy planet. Think about all the signals constantly bombarding us here on Earth. Radio broadcasts, television signals, cell phone chatter, satellite communications. It's a constant barrage of electromagnetic noise. The far side of the moon, however, is largely free from all of that. It's what scientists call radio quiet. This unique characteristic makes it an incredibly valuable location for radio astronomy. Imagine trying to listen for faint whispers from the distant universe amidst the cacophony of a bustling city. It would be nearly impossible, right? Well, the far side of the moon offers astronomers a pristine environment, a place where they can listen for those faint signals from the sun, from distant galaxies, from the very beginnings of the cosmos, without all the interference we generate here on Earth. It's like having the ultimate noise-canceling headphones for the universe. Interestingly, the near side of the moon, the side that constantly faces us, is anything but radio quiet. It's constantly bathed in the radio waves emanating from our planet, making it a much less ideal location for sensitive radio astronomical observations. Furthermore, the far side of the moon also lacks a substantial ionosphere. Now, the ionosphere is a layer of charged particles in Earth's upper atmosphere that can absorb or reflect cosmic radio sources. The absence of a significant ionosphere on the far side of the Moon provides an even clearer window to the universe for radio telescopes. This potential for groundbreaking astronomical discoveries has long intrigued scientists. In fact, in 2019, China achieved a remarkable feat by landing its Chang'e 4 mission on the far side of the Moon, deploying a rover in the von Karman crater within the South Pole Aitken Basin. One of the key objectives of this mission was to conduct low-frequency radio astronomical observations using a small antenna deployed by the rover. This lunar rover relied on a relay satellite orbiting at the Earth-Moon Lagrange point L2 to communicate with the lander and back to Earth, highlighting the communication challenges inherent in operating on the far side. So, while Michael Collins experienced a personal solitude unlike any other human before him while orbiting the far side, that very same isolation holds immense scientific promise for our understanding of the universe. It's a fascinating connection, isn't it? The personal and the cosmic intertwined in that silent, cratered landscape. And it was from this unique vantage point, both physically and perhaps even spiritually, that Michael Collins had some truly profound and, yes, some might even say, a little spooky experiences and reflections. Now, being the first person to ever circle the far side of the Moon entirely alone, completely cut off from all human contact for stretches at a time, undoubtedly gave Michael Collins a perspective that few others could ever comprehend. He wasn't just looking at a different landscape. He was experiencing a level of isolation that was unprecedented in human history. Yet, as we discussed, he didn't describe it as terrifying loneliness. Instead, he found a certain tranquility in that solitude, a chance to contemplate his place in the grand scheme of things. And it was from this unique vantage point, suspended between Earth and the Moon, that he witnessed something truly awe-inspiring: the Earthrise. Imagine, if you will, orbiting the Moon, that cratered gray landscape stretching out beneath you. You're on the far side, the familiar blue marble of Earth hidden behind the lunar sphere. Then, as you continue your orbit, slowly, majestically, our home planet begins to peak over the lunar horizon. Collins described it as a fragile blue marble, a vibrant oasis of life hanging against the stark, infinite blackness of space. It was a sight that few humans have ever had the privilege of witnessing, and it left an indelible mark on him. This unique, almost vulnerable view of Earth stirred within him profound feelings of connection and, at the same time, a sense of insignificance. Here he was, a human being millions of miles from home, looking back at the entirety of human civilization, every person he had ever known, all our triumphs and tragedies encapsulated in that single, beautiful blue dot. This experience is often referred to as the overview effect. It's a cognitive shift reported by some astronauts during spaceflight, a profound sense of the interconnectedness of all life and the fragility of our planet. From this distant perspective, national borders and petty squabbles seem to fade away, replaced by a powerful understanding of our shared humanity and the delicate balance of our ecosystem. For Michael Collins, this overview effect was particularly acute, given his solitary vantage point. He wasn't sharing the experience with his crewmates. He was absorbing it all on his own, allowing it to deeply permeate his consciousness. It was during these periods of solitude, gazing at that distant Earth, that Collins began to grapple with some fundamental questions. He pondered the meaning of the universe, our role within it, and the sheer improbability of life as we know it. He recognized the fragility of our planet, how small and vulnerable it appeared against the vast cosmic canvas. These weren't just abstract thoughts. They were visceral feelings, born from a perspective that stripped away the everyday distractions and forced him to confront the bigger picture. And it's this shift in perspective, this profound understanding of our interconnectedness and the preciousness of our home, that perhaps laid the groundwork for some of the more, let's say, intriguing reflections he would later share about his Apollo 11 experience. The silence of space, coupled with that breathtaking view of Earth, seems to have opened a new window into his understanding of our place in the cosmos. A window that perhaps revealed more than just the physical realities of space travel. Now, having spent so much time alone, orbiting the moon, with that breathtaking and humbling view of Earth constantly in his sight, Michael Collins experienced a significant shift in his perspective. That overview effect, as we discussed, wasn't just a fleeting feeling. It was a profound realization that stayed with him long after he returned to Earth. Looking back at our planet as that small blue marble hanging in the void instilled in him a deep sense of responsibility, a burning desire to protect the fragile oasis we call home. The sheer beauty and delicate balance he witnessed from space made the concerns and conflicts back on Earth seem almost trivial in comparison. He saw no borders, no divisions, just one interconnected planet teeming with life, a precious jewel in the vast emptiness of space. This newfound appreciation for Earth's fragility wasn't just a personal revelation for Collins. It translated into a lifelong commitment to environmental advocacy. After the Apollo 11 mission, he became an ardent voice for Earth conservation, urging people to take better care of our delicate planet and to cease the activities that disrupt the natural balance. He spoke with a conviction born not from scientific reports alone, but from the visceral experience of seeing our world from a distance, understanding its preciousness in a way that few others could. He often expressed the hope that one day all political leaders could have the same vantage point, that seeing Earth from space would inspire them to make decisions that prioritize the planet's well-being over short-sighted gains and destructive conflicts. His perspective wasn't just about saving the environment, it was about ensuring the long-term survival and prosperity of humanity on this unique and fragile home. Furthermore, that extended period of solitude, coupled with the mind-expanding experience of space travel, led Collins to grapple with some truly existential questions. Stripped away from the familiar comforts and distractions of Earth, he had ample time for introspection, to ponder the meaning of the universe and humanity's place within it. In his autobiography, Carrying the Fire, he delves into these profound thoughts, reflecting on the seemingly otherworldly experience that shaped his belief in a universe designed with purpose and order. Interestingly, prior to his journey into space, Collins wasn't particularly religious. However, his time orbiting the moon, witnessing the vastness and complexity of the cosmos firsthand, enhanced his spiritual outlook, leading him to lean towards a belief in an organized cosmos rather than chaotic randomness. Being, in his own words, the loneliest man alive for nearly a day during those periods of radio silence wasn't a burden for Michael Collins. He wore that unique status like a badge of honor, a testament to his crucial role in the mission and the extraordinary experience it afforded him. For in that journey, in that silence, and in that unparalleled perspective, Collins found a profound beauty in space and the opportunity to contemplate the very fundamental questions that have plagued humanity for centuries. Who are we? What is our role in the grand scheme of things? And how best can we protect this incredible world that sustains us? These are the same questions that have driven philosophers, theologians, and scientists for millennia. And Michael Collins, the third man on the moon, had the unique opportunity to ponder them from a vantage point unlike any other. And it's within this context of profound personal reflection and a shift in worldview that we can begin to understand some of the more, shall we say, unexplained aspects of his recollections from that incredible journey. The silence of space, it seems, allowed for more than just scientific observation. It opened a door to a deeper, perhaps even more mysterious, understanding of our universe. Now, after all this talk about the mission's incredible achievements, Michael Collins' vital role, and the profound personal transformations he underwent during his time orbiting the moon, we need to circle back to that initial question we posed. What were these spooky secrets or unusual encounters that Collins hinted at? It's important to preface this by saying that Michael Collins was a highly rational and scientifically minded individual, a test pilot with years of experience in demanding and often dangerous situations. He wasn't prone to flights of fancy or sensationalism, so when he spoke of things that were out of the ordinary, it carries a certain weight. While Collins never explicitly described encountering aliens or seeing anything that definitively defied the laws of physics as we understand them, he did speak of a profound sense of the unfamiliar, a feeling that the vastness of space held mysteries that we were only beginning to scratch the surface of. He often alluded to the sheer scale of the cosmos, the immense distances, and the unknown possibilities that lay beyond our current comprehension. It was, perhaps, less about specific, spooky events, and more about the unsettling realization of our smallness and the potential for the truly unknown to exist. One aspect that Collins frequently touched upon was the profound silence of space, particularly during those periods on the far side of the moon. We've discussed the radio silence, but he also spoke of a deeper, almost palpable absence of sound. On Earth, we are constantly surrounded by noise, even in the quietest of moments. But in the vacuum of space, there is no medium for sound to travel. This absolute silence, coupled with the visual spectacle of the universe unfolding before him, seems to have created a sensory experience that was both awe-inspiring and subtly unsettling. It was a silence that felt almost alive, a void pregnant with potential and mystery. Furthermore, Collins often reflected on the strangeness of being in an environment so utterly hostile to human life, yet being kept alive and functioning by the delicate machinery of the command module. He was a fragile human being suspended in an incredibly unforgiving realm, a stark reminder of our dependence on technology to venture beyond our planetary home. This awareness of our vulnerability in the face of the cosmos, the thin line between survival and oblivion, could perhaps be interpreted as a subtly spooky realization in itself. It highlights the immense risks undertaken by these early space explorers and the sheer audacity of their mission. While Collins didn't recount tales of ghostly apparitions or alien encounters, his reflections on the profound silence, the overwhelming vastness, and the inherent vulnerability of being in space hinted at a deeper, more philosophical kind of spookiness. It was the unsettling feeling of confronting the unknown, of realizing just how much we don't know about the universe and our place within it. It was the sense that beyond the familiar glow of Earth and the stark beauty of the moon, there lay mysteries that could both fascinate and perhaps even slightly unnerve the human mind. And it's this sense of the unknown, this awareness of the vast cosmic tapestry that stretches far beyond our current understanding, that perhaps forms the core of the spooky secrets that Michael Collins carried back with him, not as definitive answers, but as profound and lingering questions about the universe we inhabit. So, as we bring our journey through the Apollo 11 mission and the unique perspective of Michael Collins to a close, it becomes clear that his story is far more than just a footnote in the history books. He wasn't simply the guy who stayed behind. He was the essential link, the steadfast guardian, and the solitary witness to a view of our universe that profoundly shaped his understanding of our place within it. While the spooky secrets he alluded to might not be the stuff of science fiction thrillers, they represent something far more profound, the unsettling beauty and immense mystery of the cosmos. Collins's reflections on the absolute silence of space, the breathtaking fragility of Earth as seen from afar, and the sheer scale of the universe serve as a powerful reminder of how much we still don't know. His experience wasn't about encountering the supernatural. It was about confronting the profound natural wonder and the inherent unknown that lies beyond our familiar world. It was about grappling with the existential questions that arise when you are millions of miles from home, suspended between one celestial body and another, with the entirety of human history receding into a distant blue marble. His transformation from a dedicated test pilot to an ardent advocate for our planet underscores the powerful impact of that unique vantage point. The overview effect he experienced wasn't just a personal epiphany. It carries a vital message for all of us about the interconnectedness of life on Earth and our responsibility to protect this precious home we share. His hope that world leaders could one day see our planet from that perspective, transcending borders and conflicts to focus on our collective well-being, remains a poignant aspiration. Ultimately, the story of Michael Collins and his time orbiting the moon offers a valuable lesson. It reminds us that even in the midst of groundbreaking scientific achievements and the thrill of exploration, there is always room for wonder, for contemplation, and for a healthy dose of humility in the face of the vast unknown. His experience wasn't just about the mechanics of space travel. It was about the deeply human experience of confronting the universe in its most raw and awe-inspiring form. So, the next time you look up at the moon, remember Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin's giant leap for mankind, but also spare a thought for Michael Collins, the loneliest man alive for a time, the silent observer who carried back not just rocks and photographs, but a profound sense of our place in the cosmos and a renewed commitment to the fragile blue planet we call home. His story is a testament to the courage, dedication, and the deeply human experience that lies at the heart of space exploration. It's a reminder that even in the pursuit of scientific advancement, the most profound discoveries can sometimes be the deeply personal and philosophical ones, the quiet whispers of the universe that resonate within the human soul. And perhaps in those whispers lie the truest, most enduring secrets of all. Thanks for joining me on this journey back to the moon. Until next time, keep looking up and keep wondering.